Hi, and welcome to Black History Month in conversation with Rochdale Alexis. And I'd like to introduce Marjorie and Donovan Mason. And please tell me a little bit about yourselves.
Okay, I'll start then. I'm a Jamaican. I was born in Jamaica. I came to the UK at the age of 11. Been here ever since. I'm currently working as a teacher. I have been teaching for many years, mainly in the private sector, but I'm now teaching in the state sector. I, throughout a number of years, worked in senior management in the schools that I've been in. And my previous position actually was as deputy head teacher at an independent school in London. But I've now decided that I want to concentrate on teaching and move away from administration and management in education, because I think that teaching, being in the classroom, is a much more productive and effective role that I can play in teaching. There are others who will probably feel that their role in administration is more important, but for me, I much prefer being in the classroom with the students and teaching and making a difference.
Thank you. And Marjorie, how would you introduce yourself?
Hi, my name is Marjorie Mason. I'm obviously married to Donovan.
Make it sound too bad, that's so bad.
No, it's a good thing. That's why we've lasted. Yeah, I was born in Jamaica as well, and I came to England in the sort of mid-70s, and I went to Windsor College, and that's where I met Donovan. He was the only other Jamaican there. There were other Black Caribbean students there, and we were all friends anyway. The whole group of us were friends, and we're still friends to this day. And I've got 4 brothers and 2 sisters. And my mom was Linda Morgan, who originally started the West Indian People, was part of the group of the West Indian People Association in Slough. And we used to run some things at the Orchard Youth Club. She was a youth worker there. And when I came to England as well, I sort of started working there with her, joined her there. I've got 2 children, 2 daughters, one in Bristol, one in Birmingham, and they're professional people in their own rights. One's a teacher and one's a senior manager at Lloyds Bank. And yeah, and we got 5 grandchildren, and I work in finance, and I've been a payroll manager and a finance manager, and now I'm just general dog's body in the finance department. I cover all those roles as well, but I'm not a manager, and that's the way I like it, because I just want to go to work, do my job, and come home and don't have the stress like I used to have when I was younger. I've got lots of hobbies, and my main things, I knit, crochet, make jewelry, yeah, and dress make, and I enjoy them all. And I try to fit them all in, but it's difficult.
Tell me, you do some community work as well, so you have a big job in that one as well.
Oh, right. I'm the chair of the Jamaica Association in Slough. It's a newly formed organization. I went to an event last year, at the Windrush event last year, that was put on by Christina and some other Caribbean island people, and yourself, Rochdale, I think, was involved. And yes, and I was a little bit disappointed when they had all the stalls out and things like that, or even people participating. I didn't really see Jamaica represented, and Christina caught me on the way out and asked me what did I think of the event, and did I enjoy myself, and what was it like. And I said really enjoyable, and it was a lovely event, but I've just got one criticism. I wasn't, I didn't see any Jamaican representation there, so I was a little bit disappointed with that. And so she handed me a gauntlet and said, well, if you want to have a Jamaica Association and you're willing to get something started, I'll support you, and we can work together get that up and running. And with our help and obviously she knew a few more Jamaicans than I did, and with our help and invited all those people to come along. Yeah, we've got an association going. It's not huge at the moment, it's not big. We could do with a lot more members and more volunteers, people to take on some roles that we're lacking in the group. But yeah, we're growing, and in November we're going to celebrate our first anniversary. So we're still going strong at the moment, and we're doing things.
Congratulations, well done. But it's been a short space of time, but you have done quite a bit within the community already.
Yeah.
So, you know, I attended your launch, and that was really good, and it was really informative. So tell me a little bit more about some of the activities that you guys are doing and have planned to do.
Well, first of all, we did an online Zoom for our Jamaica Independence Day celebration, and that was well received as well. And this in November is for our first anniversary. We're planning to have an event that's being coordinated by one of our members, and he's got a team around him that's helping him to plan. I'm not sure of all the activities. I know there's going to be some singing and some poetry reading and some storytelling, but I'm not privy to everything that's happening, so they're keeping little surprises. And next year we hope to do some fundraising, because as a new organization we're lacking in funds, and everything is sort of we do for free anyway. And so next year we hope to do some fundraising, like do some walks, some sponsored walks, and some sponsored event, like some sewing, knitting, or some clubs. And our aim was to start looking after the elders and the children within the organization, with the education side of it, and also to keep our young people out of trouble, try to steer them on the right path anyway, and keep them there, occupy them at the weekends and things like that, so they don't go astray. So those are sort of like ideas and plans that we have for the future.
That's really nice to hear, because it just kind of feeds into the next thing I was going to ask you with regards to education. So we're in Black History Month, and how are we, as a collective, how are we going to share our experiences, our knowledge, what we know with the youth? How are we going to take that forward to our young people? So how are you guys planning on doing that within your community, within jazz, and within the wider community, really? What would you say, Donovan, in terms of how are we best going to share with our young people?
Well, I think it would be nice if we could have some sort of event where prominent Caribbean people or people of African descent were celebrated and their lives and achievements highlighted. It would be nice if we could have that as a live event, maybe somebody presenting information about a particular person or a number of people. But with the climate being what it is and having live events not being possible, we may have to think about doing something like that online. But I think that, from an education perspective, that sort of thing is important. It is important that not only our own youngsters know about the achievements of people from the Caribbean and people of African descent, but I think also the indigenous people need to know it. And I think that often they have a certain perspective or impression of us because a lot of the positive things and achievements have been attributed to Europeans, and the role that Black people have played in many different areas, in not just in music and sport, but in many other areas, in science, in technology, in industry, in commerce, has been overlooked. And I'm not a historian, I'm actually a scientist. And I myself would benefit from knowing a bit more about what people of African and Caribbean backgrounds have actually achieved. So yes, having some event that promotes that or conveys or puts across that information, I think would be good. And it's something I think maybe we need to have a think about doing.
Because actually during the month of October, there are going to be several activities and events. Most of them are actually going to be online because of the current climate. But in Slough, at least, I know for a fact that for us as the part of the Slough Caribbean Forum, we are going to be putting on several events. But I would also encourage everybody to also look at other things that are happening around the UK. There's so many events that are going to be taking place that it is definitely worth looking out for. But us in Slough, it would be nice for us to have a few more activities, but more educational events, because I think it's really important, as you said, Donovan, to educate to educate the community, not just the Black community, but just to educate the community about the heritage of the Black people. So, Donovan, from an educational point of view, and going back to something that you guys said earlier about the Orchard. So, the Orchard was a youth club in the late 70s into the 90s. Yeah?
Yes.
No more. So tell me a bit about the Orchard and what was going to happen now, because I think it's something it's missing. So tell me your opinion and tell me about it.
My personal involvement with the Orchard was working and running the West Indian People's Association Saturday School at the Orchard. And it was primarily to address a particular problem that was identified and highlighted, and the problem of the underachievement of children, particularly from the Caribbean community, not just in Slough, but it was something that was noticed nationwide. And I know that there were in other areas, similar schools were set up for the same purpose. So I was involved in that for about 16 years. Each Saturday morning during term time, myself and a number of other volunteers, went down to the Orchard, and we ran the school. We helped a lot of children, and it was very successful over all the years that it was going. The demise of it unfortunately happened when there was disbanding of the Berkshire Education Authority, who funded the school, and all of the responsibility then went over to Slough Borough Council, and for some reason the funding was withdrawn. And this was about, I believe, in about 1999 or 2000 that this happened. And as a result, we did not any longer have access to the use of the Orchard. And for that reason, the school had to close, which I felt was a shame, because so many young people benefited from it. I was teaching maths and science up to GCSE level. And not only did we have Caribbean kids, but the word got around, and children from other communities started attending in actually quite significant numbers. So it just goes to show how successful it actually was, and it's a shame that it had to come to an end. Now, it would be nice if something like that could be reinstated, but it's not it's something that maybe we need to look at. As I said, it would be nice if it could happen, but we probably need to, within ourselves as a community, look at pushing that forward rather than waiting for authorities who probably don't have a great deal of interest in the progression of Caribbean children in the way that we do, waiting for them to initiate that.
Sorry, I don't just think it's nice to happen. I think it's something that needs to happen. It's a necessity. Mm-hmm. And definitely our children are not doing very well in schools, and I think they need that extra help. And the teachers are already stretched in the schools that they go to. So any extra outside help that they could get, support them and support their parents would be welcome, I'm sure. So to me, it's a necessity more than nice to happen.
Because I was actually going to say it's a need. It's a need within the community. It's just knowing how to go about actually getting that off the ground. So that's a project for someone.
Yeah.
We also need to look at ourselves, I think, as a people, and evaluate how we actually value education, and as parents, how we bring our children up to value education as well. I'm talking from the perspective of someone who's been in the education system for many, many years, and now that I've been working in the state sector for a relatively short period of time, I'm actually seeing some things that disturb me in terms of the attitude of a significant, I have to say, number of Black children in the schools in the school that I teach, who don't seem to have the same passion for education that maybe we did years ago. And I do feel that this sort of thing goes back to the home environment and the role of parents in promoting and highlighting the importance of education. So whilst we may have a supplementary school of some kind or any kind of additional support to what goes on in mainstream schools, and that may very well be needed, or as you said, be a necessity, we must also look at ourselves as a community and as individuals, as parents and family members, and consider the extent to which we actually encourage our young people to value education and conduct themselves properly in school, and pay attention to what is being taught, do their work, develop the right sort of work ethics and all that sort of thing. I think it is sometimes very easy to look at the authorities and say they're not doing this and they're not doing that. But we sometimes, at the same time, do need to take a good look at ourselves and consider what are we doing as individuals and take responsibility as individuals ourselves for certain things.
Of course. So how do we get that message out there during Black History Month? How do we try and get that message out there to start that conversation, to start that ball rolling? How do we do it?
I think we probably could by showing them Black people, past and present, who are in certain position, in high status, very professional, and to say to them, probably do a little bit of background on those people and to say how they achieved or how did they get to where they are at the moment. And if they see people of the same color as themselves in certain position, that is probably something that they could aim towards, because they think, oh, well, if they can achieve it, then surely I could too. So I think it's to present our professional Black people and high achievers to them, to say that, it can be done with hard work. It can be done. So I think we need to get that message out to them as well, and to show Black people in a good light.
I mean, Black History Month is a platform that we could use to do that, and whatever media we can use to help to enable that to happen, that would be a good thing.
Yeah, I think,
because
sorry.
our children are our future.
Yes.
Yeah. I think, a strong message that always needs to be gotten across is that whatever the field of success, there are many, many people, black, white, who have been successful in sports, in music, in performing arts, in academia, whatever. In every case, the background is that they had to work hard, they had to graft, they had to sometimes
make
turn their back on the frivolous aspects of life and get on with the nitty gritty, the hard work. As I say, you sometimes you just have to do the dirty work, the unpleasant things of getting down and just working. And the most successful people will have that aspect of their lives. We may not see it when they're actually performing on stage or when they're on the sports field or whatever it is they're doing, but behind the scenes, in every case, they had to have that proper work ethic, which I think doesn't happen, when you want it to happen. It happens as a matter of routine from a very early age, and that's what I strongly believe in. And I do think, again, it's very much the responsibility of parents to make sure that from a very early age, children develop the work ethic. It even may start with things as simple as having chores at home, for them to realize that things in life don't just happen because you want them to happen. Somebody has to make it happen. And if you want to be successful, you have to do something to achieve that success. And sometimes it's very unpleasant, having to work hard, but that's the way life is, And I think that message is just the thing that really needs to be gotten across. And being overprotective as a parent, I'm not here sort of giving any sort of parenting lessons. I would never do that. But I do feel that protecting children from the reality of life is sometimes doing them a disservice for what comes later.
Very true. Very, very true.
Yeah.
So how do, again, I every time you say something, I just say, well, okay, how are we going to move that forward? How are we going to make
that's the question.
there? How are we going to do it?
I don't think there is a single answer to that. I think it's maybe, with organizations like the Caribbean Forum, whatever, Jazz and other organizations putting on events that maybe give information about people who have achieved. And I think, whilst we are a black organization, it's also important maybe to highlight the achievements of other people who have achieved things through hard work. Yes, we want to show that black people have achieved, and therefore we can continue to do that as individuals. But at the same time, achievements have happened in other communities, and whichever community you are from, whatever we may perceive as privilege within certain communities, privileges may exist, disadvantages exist. Whatever situation you are in, you have to work hard to achieve success. And I think that sometimes there may be a tendency to say, I haven't had that privilege, or I've not been in a privileged situation, and therefore it's okay if I don't achieve as well as somebody else. Well, I don't actually believe in that. I believe in whatever position you are in, whatever you're starting. It may mean you have to work harder than somebody else because you started from the back row, but it doesn't mean you can't catch up with them. You just have to run faster, run harder in the race. If you start from a disadvantaged position, it doesn't mean you have to finish in that position. That's what I'm saying. And I was brought up with the idea that nobody's going to give you anything. As a black person, nobody is going to give you or do you any favors. Whatever you want, you have to work hard for it yourself. You're starting from a disadvantaged position, not a privileged position, and therefore you have to work harder to win the race. That's an opinion that I continue to hold on to, and that's a view that I brought my children up with that ethos, and I teach with that sort of ethos as well.
It's very true.
And also, we've got to support and encourage those that are trying as well. We have to support and encourage each other. And it filters down from the top, really.
It does. And it's all of us are in this together. It's we're on that journey together, and we've got to help each other.
Yeah.
So yeah, you're right. So education is a big part of everything that we're doing. Educating our youth, educating our young people. Jazz. I go back to jazz. So over the next few months and to next year, what's your plan for jazz? How are you going to grow your membership base?
Well, we hope with the event we're having for our first anniversary that we'll be able to invite, because we trying to develop our social media side and try to interact with different groups and extend our reach. And hopefully with the event we'll have a few, by word of mouth, you invite your friends and family, and people come along, and obviously mainly Jamaicans probably, but all are welcome. And friends, Jamaican and friends, that is our motto too. And so that we can increase our membership. And we plan to, I think we having launch of a Jamaican cookery book. We're hoping to have a book club. So I think people within the organization will be interested in different things. So we're putting the feelers out there to find out what people are interested in or what they'd like to see, and so that we can cater for most things anyway. But we kind of want to probably stick to about 5 projects or something like that to take along, so that with the limited numbers that we have at the moment, that we can achieve those things. And because I think if we say we're going to do something and then it doesn't happen, I think people get disappointed and lose interest. So we want to keep the interest going. So whatever we set out to do or say we're going to do, we'd like to achieve it, so that people feel encouraged and said, well, I think this is good. I want to be part of this and sort of carry on. So there are a few things that we got in pipeline to do as well. So we don't want to give away too much, but keep a few up our sleeves so the interest is there, so you come and think, what they're going to be up to next. But I know in October, we definitely, for Black History, we're hoping to have a night where we put on some things, bit of music, background into some of the Jamaican artists. Probably not the ones that you know very well, but they've been the starting point sometimes for Jamaican music, and they've been there all along. And we're gonna have again, as I said, do some poetry and just have some discussion. And then we're going to have I think there's going to be a launch of a cookery book that the members have been putting together. So I think our vice chair Gloria is working on that to get that ready for us to launch in October.
That's really good. And of course, using a platform like this to start talking about it and getting that momentum going, I think is a good idea. So well done, guys. Yeah. Well done.
And also, we're both taking part in the, is it ANC Global Cooking?
Yeah, that's right. Global cooking.
She's doing the cooking. I'm just doing the donkey work.
He's going to be my sous chef.
I'm just doing the donkey work behind the scenes.
Yeah, so we're taking part in that as well. So we've got our session. I think we're on the 6th session. We'll be doing our Jamaican national dish, ackee and saltfish, and fried dumplings. So we look forward to that. And it's Rochdale and Christina and Home Slough is supporting the event. So we're going to try and encourage our friends and family to not just come and see our show, but to our cooking session, but to support the event as well, because it's happening all through Black History Month.
Yes, that's wonderful.
Come and support the other chefs.
Of course. And of course, as a community, we're just raising each other up.
Yeah.
So that's definitely. Really wonderful. Really good. So I was going to say, before we conclude, just tell me what would your message be going forward? I mean, what would your message be for the community going forward?
I think we should try our best to be united, come together, support each other, and that's the only way, because we can move forward in strength. And don't let anything sort of take us off the path that we're traveling on at the moment. I think there's a momentum going on, and think not just with the older folks as well, but younger people are interested and they want to know what's going on and what the black people in this community and Caribbean people in the community is doing. And I think, we've got a good movement going at the moment. So I think we should keep going forward.
I would agree with that. I think probably, well, certainly the most important thing is unity within the community. I think as a united force, we can be very, very strong. We have some very committed, talented, hardworking people, but their efforts will be most effective when they are supported, and we are supporting them as a community. There is no one individual that is bigger than the community. I think the community comes first, and it's made up of individuals, but those individuals working together will be far more effective. I don't think there is any room for egos or excessive pride. I think humility is an important thing. And it's not about the individual, it's about us as a people. And I think that if we actually focus on working as a group, as a people, then all those other diversions like egos, etc., will automatically be pushed to one side. And those are obstacles, I feel, that can get in the way. And I think we have to be careful to guard against that. And supporting each other, I think, is a primary goal. And we are all working towards the same goal. We're on the same team. I think we should all be kicking in the same direction, just to use a sporting metaphor, and not kicking against with that. If that's the situation, if we are going against any individual within the team, then we are supporting those who may be against us, and that's not something that we would want to do. We have to recognize that there are forces against us, whether we like it or not. There are, and there are those who would not like to see us succeed and feel threatened. We only have to look at the responses of some people and some organizations to the Black Lives Matter movement, which is very much an anti-racist movement, and some people are turning it into something else and portraying it. I've even heard a certain so-called politician, describe it as or liken it to a terrorist organization. Well, he was silenced by his presence on a particular radio station being removed and his contract being withdrawn. So there are those who will support us and will be behind us, not just us as a community, but the wider support network system is there. But they have to see us as working together. When we are seen as being divided, then those that oppose us get strength from that, and then we begin to slide downhill after that. So I think unity is the number one thing, and individuality, I think, needs to be put to one side.
Absolutely.
I think also our parents and foreparents laid the foundation for us. They started it, and I think it's about time we move it forward. I think it's been stagnant for a long time now, since what they've done in the past, and I think it's time for our generation to rise up and take on the mantle and move forward.
Not just our generation, but
and for the future.
We're getting on. I certainly know I am. So, my priorities, again, as somebody who works extensively and has done throughout my career with young people, I think it is important that we try to get them involved as much as possible. We may have children, grandchildren, whatever. It is important that we try to get the message across to them as well, to get them involved also, because it's no good our generation doing something and then it stops at the end of our generation. I think it needs to continue. It needs to be a force that continues in order for us to continue to grow as a people. You know, our parents and even going back in the generations have made many sacrifices. They've put up with a lot of horrible things in order to get us to where we are. And we need to honor that and respect that and therefore build on that.
That's very true. Thank you so much. And couldn't have ended on a better note there. But, you know, we've got that mantle and we've just got to do something with it.
Yeah.
So it's our duty and our responsibility to do the work.
Yeah.
So thank you so much for joining me. Thank you so much for taking the time. And, you know, until the next podcast, we will get our message out there.
Yeah.
We'll meet again.
Okay.
Okay, take care.
Okay, thank you, Rochdale. Take care.